Hello, this is Kade and welcome to day 9 of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo of 2950. This is the last manufacturing day and of course we have RSI on show, or Robot Space Industries in full. Now before we take a look at the ships that are on show either on the floor or the holo tables, let's talk about the two that are not. So of the two that are not currently being shown at all, we have the RSI Apollo, which of course comes in the normal version and the medevac version, which is the medical ship. And of course we have the good old RSI Orion. Both of these are available to buy. The medevac follows, just like the Mantis, a bit of the new RSI level styling. It's focused on the medical gameplay, and it's one of the few ships that really does that, along with the Cutlass Red. And it does have a lot more capabilities than the Cutlass Red does. So it could be a really interesting ship to acquire if you're looking at, playing around with the medical level gameplay. If you're looking for the ultimate, I'm going to eat asteroids for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Of course the RSI Orion is going to be the large capital grade mining ship, which is also available. It did appear to get again a price bump, but it's probably still going to be a really profitable ship to fly around with once it comes out. So with those mentioned, let's go and take a look what is on the show floor. And front and center, they're showing off their Constellations. On the left here we have the Aquila, in the back what looks to be the Taurus, and then over here I think this would be the Phoenix. The problem with the Constellation is it's one of the older designs, and I don't mean just lore-wise, but also game-wise. So it's one of the earlier designs, it has seen a little bit of overhaul, however not a whole lot. And the issue is really that it has a lot of issues, and it always keeps getting issues. It's probably one of the least reliable ships in the game. And it's just down to a lot of moving parts, a lot of issues with fragility, with for example engines, missile launchers that are not working, a lot of issues with physics grids it has had, so it's been a rather problematic ship. On top of that, other ships are coming into its category. Drake with a Corsair, Crusader with a Mercury Star Runner. These are all ships in the same playing field as the Constellation is. And overall, I think in the current form, the Constellation is really not a ship I would recommend anyone to buy. Especially not the default one. For the Aquila, one could make an argument that, well, it is a mid-range exploration ship. It's the step below the Carrack. So if you're really looking to explore, but you want a bit more than Freelancer Dur, but you don't want to go for full out for a Carrack, then the Aquila is pretty much your only option, unless of course we count the 600i touring version, but at that point you better exploration version, but at that point you better buying a Carrack. The Phoenix, I guess, could be argued the 600i is much larger interior wise, but of course it needs a bit of an overhaul, but it should get that, which must make the Phoenix a bit of a hard sell. So yeah, overall the Constellations just need a rework. I think that's fairly fair to say, and I do think they will get a rework. The only thing I do hope is that they will maintain the old level of styling, or maybe that they will do like a functional rework, like to make sure that the damn thing works, and they will give you an option between, like you can buy the latest model year was 2950, and then maybe for model year 2951 there's a new design available that's going to be used. Let's take a look downstairs. We'll find the URSA rover here if I'm not mistaken, and there it is on our side. URSA rover, of course, 6-wheeled rover, fully enclosed. Decent level of firepower, especially when you're looking at like an anti-infantry capacity. Overall, I think of the ground vehicles, it's currently one of the more interesting ones. Because like it being 6-wheeled does always give you a bit more resilience in case you do lose a wheel. Having a bit of firepower against infantry on a turret is really nice to have. Being fully enclosed, but also means you're protected, is also really nice to have, so you don't have to deal with atmospheric conditions, which you have to do with a lot of these open vehicles and of course on all the bikes. Let's take a look at the holotables, because RSI of course has quite a few larger ships that are currently either waiting or in development, and I probably do expect these to come out in a reasonable span of time, because they have finished or nearly have finished the Bengal, which should offer them a lot of style clues for these. First off, we have the good old Polaris, which they still call a corvette. I still call it a motor torpedo boat. I will keep calling it a motor torpedo boat because in my opinion that's what it most closely resembles, as it's really focused around those big size 10 torpedoes. It's a hull limited ship, very popular, so good luck if you want to try and get one. It does appear, however, there are some rumors that this thing may actually get a bit of a size bump, and that maybe explain also why they're trying to limit the amount of ships that are out there. I think the reasoning behind that thinking there is, well, they have now a new ship that's released, which we'll see next over, which is really going to be trading blows with a hammerhead. And previously this thing was, positioned as the RSI offering, that was counter to the hammerhead. And of course their new offering here is the Perseus. It's been leaked for quite a while, so that's stuff, speculation being going on, but today it is finally fully released, and I will make a fully dedicated video to this one, which may come out either today or tomorrow. I have to see how my time and also my voice is holding up. More on that at the end of this video. But yeah, two turrets with two size 7 weapons on them each, and 2 remote turrets with size 3 weapons, and I think those are a bit of an issue. Those need either be quad size 3s or ideally even quad size 4s to really be effective against fighters, because size 3 weapons currently are not, but that of course can change. For those in the least that have been wondering, this here in the center is, these are not some turrets or broadside stuff, this is just a docking collar over here. So yeah, more to come on this one. I will make a full video on it because it's a ship that really appeals to me, and I think it appeals to a lot of other people. And finally they show us, another Constellation. This is the Taurus, which is the cargo hauling version of the Connie series. Of course they can all haul cargo, but the Taurus says, fuck it, we drop the snub and we just add extra cargo capacity. The reason why this thing has not been out yet is also why I suspect Constellation is going to get a full rework, and that they just don't want to waste their resources on making another Connie with the current design style. So let's go ahead and make our way over to the second and final hull, because RSI actually has relatively few ships when you think about it. Let's take a good run up these stairs. I also hope that they are gonna make some smaller in-game event that actually makes use of these hulls so we can keep visiting them. I think it's a bit of a shame if they just remove these hulls, because they are really cool looking. And I would like to see them do more smaller in-game sort of events. You can also see here back that yesterday they had all cut out in the back of that wall, which I think they just did just to fit the 890 in here. I think they designed this space and then somebody realized, oh shit, it's just not large enough for the 890. And they also saw it with the reclaim, and that was also pretty much touching. Yeah. They are really cool places. And then in the final hull we have their good old Horror series and the Mantis. To start off with the Auroras, they're the default original OG starter ship. I think unlike a lot of these ships that over time have just been the Aura has still kept its own, and I think that's mainly down to the price point of especially the base versions. I don't really think the upgraded versions are worth the money, like the Legionnaire or the Alexis and stuff like that. But the basic versions being just really, really dirt cheap to make them really appealing, and just a really good starter option. Because when you're looking at $20 for one of these ships, compare that to a lot of other ships, you're not really gonna complain about it. And then we have the Mantis, which is of course the first RSI ship, and that gives us a bit of an idea of the new style of RSI styling. So a lot more clean lines in that, and versus the Constellations or the Auras, which are a lot more industrial looking. This one looks a lot more clean with sharp angles and plates on it. So we might see a similar style being translated into a redesign of the Constellation. The Mantis itself, however, is of course paper thin, lightly armored, but its main role is to snap people out of quantum or to prevent them from going into quantum in the first place. This of course is going to be useful for law enforcement and pirates, equally like. So you will see the ship used no doubt by both sides of the law, and it's going to be a real threat to people that are, try cargo hauling on set routes. So you will see with things like this, especially for people that are hauling in smaller, more agile ships, it may be worth that they take like detour routes to avoid potentially to be ensnared pretty much by the Mantis, because the more predictable the routes you're going over, the more likely it is for pirates to try and intercept you on that one. It does of course also depend on how much law enforcement is in the area. But it is a really useful ship, but do keep in mind this is not a ship you will be using alone. This is a ship that you're using as a part of a larger combined force to ensnare somebody. Now, what I do think what they really need to do for RSI, stop releasing capital units. And what they need to do is, of course, rework the Constellation. But we also need to see from them a more of a gradual step up. They are the gateway into space, and you would expect that they have a full lineup to keep people within their brand. So you start with an Aura, you upgrade to a ship above that, to another ship above that, and then you go into the Constellation. With Origin, you're already seeing the start of this with their 100 series, which is then followed by the 300 series, and even Consolidated Outland now has the Mustang, and then it follows it up by the Nomad. So Robert Space Industries really need that, and I hope they're going to do that. As well, like with Origin, like people say between 300 and 600, of course, quite a large jump. There's been some rumors about a Origin 400 series. Now, the latest rumors I've heard was that it was cancelled. I don't know for sure. There are some things that I know about it, but I'm afraid I'm under NDA in that regard, so those are details I am unable to share for, I think, at least the next 4 years still, that NDA is going to be valid. So that's RSI, and I think, as I said, they have some good offerings, especially on the higher end, and of course at the bottom end they have some good stuff. Overall, they're just going to need to work on their lineup, do some reworks, and do some additions, because I really want to see a full RSI lineup relatively soon, because they are the OG manufacturer, of course, so they need some more love, I think, and they deserve it. So that's it for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Tomorrow I will do another video in regards to my recommendations in regards to any ships you want to get, because it's going to be the best in show day. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching for this video. I'm not going to sign off right away, because I'll do a quick bit of an announcement. I am actually planning to do a little bit more with this YouTube channel in regards to Star Citizen. So I've actually been working on a script for a video series that I want to do weekly, which I'm calling Star Citizen Topics. And these I will use to address things that could be informational for future things in the verse, but I will also use it to critique certain things that I, for example, think need changing. So this will be launching either Monday or Friday. I'm not entirely sure what kind of schedule I want to run with that. And along with that, you may also notice a few bits of freshly branding on this channel, just to make it all look a little bit nicer. And this video should also be the first one that uses the new thumbnail, that actually will have a proper thumbnail on it for that reason. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. As always, I would like again thank you for watching. I do hope to see you for the upcoming videos on the Perseus, which will either be today, tomorrow, and of course tomorrow for the recommendations on what ships to get in regards to the best in show day. And I hope to see you next week, either Monday or Friday, for my first you know, properly scripted, edited, shiny video. That's not a live recording like all of these have been. And until then, I'll see you there.